Alright, so looking at here, what we had was some water damage that broke in and leaked out through the floor there, which, come around here, was from a faulty water heater, which has since been replaced along with the HVAC, and had a professional come and remove out all the moldy bits. And now what's left is for me to go clean up these edges and get ready to patch in some new hardwood floors. Now you can see here that they did a great job cleaning everything up, but there is a lot of unevenness to the floors. A lot of the pieces here are all chewed up and splintered and everything, so to make this a nice clean install, I'm just going to rip out all of this here. I'll focus there. I'm just going to rip out all of this and just bring it back so you have a clean line going here, so that you can just start from fresh and work all of this back in, so you'll never know. The only tricky part is going to be piecing these things back together. See, the problem is that these are all continuous hardwood floors, so we want to keep it looking that way. Alright, let's get started. So first things first, I'm going to want to go ahead and just sweep up some of this stuff. Got some dust and dirt and things, just to clean it up, make a nice clean work area. Move these wires here. There's going to be plenty of dirt and debris coming up, so let's start with a clean workspace. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. And for the cleanup on this part, I'm just going to use a normal house vacuum. I just have a Dyson. When there's more bigger wood chips and all the stuff later on, I'll go get my shop vac for that stuff. Alright, let's get that cleaned. Alright, so we got all that swept up and cleaned up. Wires are tucked up a little bit, but the hard thing is this is where my internet comes in, so I kind of don't really have anywhere else to put that for right now. We could use a little bit more light. Let's go get some more light. There we go. Much better. Let's turn this down a little bit now. Alright, so let's grab our drill, and we're just going to go through and take out the screws located to hold down this last board here. Which, by the way, just taking a look and showing you here, that's what we're talking about. Take that out, and then we can start prying up all. So I want to shift our focus to over here, and I'm just going to use one of these trim puller tools just to pop this out, pull that trim out of there, and then we can start with the prying to pull the wood boards up. One thing I will say when you're going to do this is you want to work your way along there, get it part of the way off first, before you start really cranking and trying to pull the thing all the way out. And definitely focus where you're doing your pulls mostly right along where those nails are that are holding it into the wall. Yeah. And there we go, the trim is removed, so now we can move on to starting to pull the boards out. Alright, so let me take you down here and show you what I'm looking at. So, the whole idea of this is to be able to bring all the flooring back together and have them, you know, as your nice normal, like, uneven pieces so that it looks like it's all continuous flooring. Now, what intrigued me here is up to here, this point right here, this still has the tongue and the groove on it. So, that means that that board can still be used. Now looking at this board, this one's actually in good shape too. That's why I was peeling off the, get the strap out of the way here. That's why I was peeling off the duct tape here, which is kind of falling apart. It must be old duct tape. But looking at the edge of this here, this all looks to be in nice condition. The only problem with it is the end here is there's no tongue there because this board was cut short. Now, if I just have to do that to one board, that's not really that big a deal. It's just that little channel there. I've got Dremels and routers and other things I can use to just notch that. And then just fit the new boards right into there. What you will notice that I'll have to do here is put down this 1/8 inch sheet, cover all the subfloor here, bring it all up to the same level, then put underlayment, waterproofing paper, and then we can go back to doing all that again. Now, looking at these over here though, let's bring the light around, get better light. I'll come around to this side. Turn that down a little bit. There we go. So, looking at this here, it would have worked really well if these ones also had been tongued, because then I could bring them forward too. Now, what I may do is, so like I said before, doing one isn't that bad. So if this one right here, I use that one and I notch that one out. What I'm thinking I can do here is is I can go ahead, cut this piece back here. So I have that one. Cut this one back, you know, somewhere in that area. Leave this one here if I can extract this piece and this piece cleanly. So that way I have the tongue, the groove all the way on this side here. So then I'll have a piece, I'll have a piece, and I'll have a piece. And then this piece right here, I just have to make one. Which might save time, might not be worth all the extra effort. Which is why I was starting to then peel up the duct tape that the mold remediation people had put up and take a look and see what these edges are looking like. Because if I just have to do that to one or two, you know, I think I'm going to try and go ahead and do that. If I got to do that to all of these though, well, that's not necessarily helping me. So this one actually already has the groove still in it. And that one's nice and tight still. So that's good. All right, let's take a look at this next one here. Come back. Check the condition of these edges. Man, this duct tape is really sticking. But if we look at the edges here, all right. They look pretty clean. And look at that. That one's also a groove already. Which means I wouldn't have to do anything to those two boards. And they're already staggered in the orientation I would want to do something like this. Because remember, we're going to be starting here and then working our way backwards. So that's a plus. The edge on this one is duct tape. The edge on this one looks like it's in good condition, so I won't need to do much to there. This board right here, though, you can see there's a gap here. Kind of popped out, not super tight anymore, which is fine. I can always fix that from the back side, but this, see that piece coming off the edge there? Yeah, that's gonna have to go. So, but again, I mean, I'm only cutting two pieces down over there, because I'll have that one there, and then that one I'll take out, and then this one here. So those two I'll have to cut. But then, coming all the way back over here, so this one's splintered right on the edge here, but that splintering stops right there. So I could cut here-ish, you know, somewhere in this range, and groove that side, as long as this isn't too, man, this tape. As long as this isn't too damaged or splintered further up the piece of wood, which doesn't look like it is. That's not a piece of duct tape, that's a crack. But that crack stops right here. It goes to this piece of duct tape and stops. So maybe I can cut it, you know, back here a little bit, and then I only have this little bit to try and push back together. The only part that's going to require a lot of work is going to be this part over here. Now, let's bring the light over so we get a better look. See what we're looking at. We're dealing with over here. Yeah, it's tape sticking everything. Alright. So, here, as you can see, you got these nice continuous floors that go from one room into the next room and around. But this, there's no way I'm ripping up all of that. So we're going to find a way to make this work here. And so we're going to leave these pieces where they're kind of cut out a little bit in there, cut out a little bit in this one, you know, Maybe I'll try and notch this out somehow. Step them a tad bit, you know, zigzag back and forth. So that way you don't have just a straight line going across. These ones, they're gonna be a little bit tricky. So yeah, that one's really badly splintered. So that's gonna have to come out. And what I'm thinking, let me think about this for a minute and I'll be right back. Alright, so we're back. So, what I'm thinking, this board still has its tongue on it, this board still has its tongue on it, this board still has its tongue on it, and they're all in fine shape. This one right here is splintered. This one is obviously very badly splintered. And this one has its board missing. So, this one's very fasteningly secured. That's also the single piece that goes around the corner. So that one, if I can, I want to leave this one whole. And I want to leave as many long pieces in this section here, because that's going to be the front door where people are going to be coming in and out. So whatever happens here has to be tight, has to be strong and well fitted and joined together. It's going to take some good carpentry skills, not just a shoddy job to put back together. If you don't want it to be a squeaky mess and look like crap. So what I'm thinking, leave this piece here. This one, cut somewhere about midways down there, halfway to the board there. So that way, leave this piece here, because this one's in fine shape. This is the one that's splintered. Leave this one here, leave this one here. So this piece right here in the middle will cut and a groove or notch out in there. So when we get to this part here, we'll end up sliding a board in here. So it's only sticking in there a couple inches, 5-6 inches tops, without a nail in there. So that should stay pretty tight. And remember, we're gonna have the trim and stuff coming out into here anyway, so this isn't like, this piece right over here is not gonna be super high traffic. This board's already nailed in, we're not touching it. This board's already nailed in, we're not touching it. This board's nailed in, not touching it. Just this board right here, we can cut just to get just behind the little splintery part there. Here, so again, similar to that, only having several inches come through, that's not actually going to be nailed down, and I can throw a nail in on the back side of it there to help hold it in place once we get the new board in. So this I don't think should be too bad. That should be pretty good. Which then leaves us with these pieces over here. So, this piece right here has no tongue left on it. This one we're going to leave, and this one we're going to leave. Those two are in fine condition, and they still have their tongues. This one's splintered, and if you look at it, it comes all the way back to here. The camera focus there for a second. So, we're talking about pretty far in to the floors. So this is going to have to get cut back here. I mean, this is splintered, the piece is missing. I don't have it. It's not like I can glue it back in there. It's gone. So this is getting cut back to here. This one's going to stay, and the one right before it here is going to stay. So this one will get cut here. I'm thinking this one will cut halfway between here and here, and we'll put it split in there somewhere and take this piece out, take this splintered bits out, and then we'll do that. So once it gets to be that time, we can spend a little bit more focus on that, but I'm going to set that as my goal, and then alright, so if you look over here, you can take a look and see all the pieces that we got rid of there, all these pieces here too, and I was able to preserve this picture framing out that I did around the tile here. So the only problem with it is right here in the corner you got a little bit of a split, but it's one of those splits that when you look at it, let's see if I can zoom in here a little bit, these two little pieces, once they're pushed back down, you can't even see it. I'll let the camera focus. Yeah, you can't even see where the split is. So this is something that can be taken care of with proper adhesives and weighing it down to keep it nicely lined up so that way that seam completely disappears. That's something I'll take care of Be careful with this, but that way we don't have to go ahead and rip out all of this picture windowing, which goes around there, which would be a bugger because that means all of this has got to get ripped out too, and that wood is fine. So that's what we got for today. There's all the wood, pretty quick and easy. And next time we'll be probably going through here, get some tools to go and cut those bits out over here and the bits out over on the other side. All right, see you next time.